And we are back with another cozy stream with a Blue Dog Owlin. In today's game, Pink Noise. A special thank you to Somber Games for providing us a copy of this on the PC. It says here, Pink Noise is a non-linear visual novel in the psychological horror genre, immersing you in the retro atmosphere of the 90s. It tells the tale of a group of teenagers who unknowingly set off a chain of terrifying events. What secrets lie within the mysterious VHS tape they should have never played? This game released yesterday, actually, and if you want to go check it out, you can check out the pinned link that I have in the chat message, and if you're watching the VOD, you can look at the VOD description below, where I will put a link to the game. But yeah, this game is in early access, but we're going to check it out right now, courtesy of Somber Games. Yeah, streaming first, so it might be a little spooky. Let me move the cursor out of the way here if I can. Boop. Settings-wise, they support a few different languages, I believe. Let's see. There's Russian, French, Polish, Simplified Chinese, Japanese, German, Portuguese, Azerbaijani, Spanish, and English. So we're going to put it to English. We're going to do new game. I may have to adjust the volume. I don't know how loud it's going to be. Act 1, Along Shady Alleys. Fall comes to Riverwood with chilling winds and the first drizzle. A bleak mist obscures the narrow streets, clinging to the rooftops, tangling in the bushes, and swirling around fields. Thank you, ABB. Thank you, Rico. Maybe I'll use this. Fog and murky blackness suit the peculiar suburb. Nestled amid the forests and mountains, it's a decaying, quiet place waiting for winter. As the evening wears on, the town is wrapped in thickening twilight, with only a few streetlights serving as solitary islands of illumination in an ocean of darkness. On one such evening, ordinary and cold, 4 teenagers are strolling around an old park, engrossed in a lively discussion. The first fallen leaves rustle underfoot. As the wind reaches the trees, their branches groan out a long, plaintive creak, as if already lamenting the loss of their motley attire. 2 of the teenagers, a tall boy and a fair-headed girl, walk hand in hand. Their friend carefully hops from paved slab to the next, balancing as though a bottomless chasm might yawn open beneath them. A quiet, stooping boy in glasses trails behind them, casting glances at the road. Ahead, the street splits into 2, then veers sharply out toward a wasteland. Just as half a century before, a tiny school stood there. Now, only a barely discernible foundation and heaps of broken bricks choked by stubborn vines remain to remind them of its erstwhile existence. Year by year, students have taken that path, carrying with them their thoughts and fears, high hopes and grand dreams, from tough exams and first crushes to bullies' bonks on the head, or simply yearnings to be the star player of a local team. Be it to glow in autumn gold, cloaked in verdant summer green, or blanketed beneath snowdrifts, Riverwood will never forget them. Just as they'll never forget their town and its secrets. The older a place grows, the more mysteries it keeps locked away. One of the girls leaps into the distorted blur of light cast by an old street lamp.
Ain't gonna catch me.
Evil wipes shadowy webs off her cardigan, gossamer threads only she can perceive. She glances at the overgrown bushes, which have long since forgotten the tender care of gardening shears. Wow, they're pretty.
No chow time tonight, besties.
The other girl scoffs at her friend's silly gestures.
If Brian was as agile as you, we wouldn't have been stuck in school after dark. The chemistry room's never been so tidy.
She wriggles her fingers to demonstrate, her palms red and wrinkled from the hot water. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Dear, dear. We do have anonymous follows, but feel free to share your favorite type of game to play, or you can continue to lurk. Up to you.
It's not my fault Mrs. Hopstone didn't save enough teeth to avoid spitting and lisping. Besides, she should have explained it better. The bottle must have been left open.
Actually, she explained just fine, but you still put 3 chlorine tablets in the rubbing alcohol instead of 1. Surprise, surprise, the reaction was extreme.
Why is this guy putting so much so many tablets in the rubbing alcohol? Uh-oh.
Yeah, that bang was something else. My left ear's still ringing.
Oh, I guess they had an explosion. Eva stops, hovering in a faint halo of light, and nods. She's never been reprimanded at school before today. Sure, she would have been way more upset if it had been Brian's fault, but still. It's just another adventure, something her and her friends will laugh about one day, and a happy memory is worth more than any reprimand, especially when her parents will probably forget it by tomorrow.
All right.
He raises his hands apologetically.
Next time we team up, I won't let you down. I'll put in 2 chlorine tablets.
I think it's supposed to be 1. The group passes a row of houses as dissimilar to one another as is ever possible in a suburb. The time-worn houses' windows glow faintly in sepia tones, as though the light itself has aged and can no longer disperse the deepening darkness. The buildings they pass seem to be contending for the greatest neglect. Every other resident would be considered an eccentric in any other town. For instance, Greybone has leaned on the rusty mower on his front stoop instead of a cane for 2 decades. The abandoned duplex across the road still bears the scars of a long-forgotten fire. Its windows are boarded up. Even during the day, it has a miserable look. The teens keep their distance. Are these a bunch of dogs?
Oh, Miss Harvitz's house.
Oh, Miss Harvitz's house. What is all this? The gloomy old lady had knitted yet another pear-shaped cat and proudly displayed it on the terrace, thus expanding her ugly army. I don't know, they're kind of cute.
Right, you had a cup of tea together. Did baby Tony apologize?
Once Eva's brother had filched one of the cats and taken it home. Neither of their parents had called any attention to it, so she had to explain herself that taking other people's belongings without permission was wrong.
No, I was the one to apologize. Miss Harvitz didn't say a word. She only gave us a cold stare and sniffed loudly. She scared poor Tony so much that he couldn't fall asleep for half a night.
You have such a giving heart when it comes to your brother. You might be raising a hell of a night. Why in the world would he want to snatch a cat, though?
I don't know, it's kind of cute.
He was just a little kid. He came, he saw, he took it home.
There's no need to tell her friend that Tony had intended to give Eva the cat. He knew she wanted a pet more than anything in the world. He thought he could help cheer her up with at least one toy one. He'd never taken anything that didn't belong to him before. Not out of fear of getting caught or punished. He simply found stealing shameful. Tony would sooner give away his breakfast than steal something from someone weaker than him. No doubt that kind of attitude will make school harder for him, but such is his nature. Contemplating her brother's heart of gold, Eva smiled softly. They passed by Miss Harvitz's terrace, curiously eyeing her odd dolls. Twilight makes the cat's silhouettes look eerie. Their pearl-button eyes glimmer in the fading light as they know secrets that have been buried too long.
If I go crazy one day, I'm gonna definitely buy a nice crib close to the park. The neighbors here match me perfectly.
Yeah, I can't stand this street. It's like it's lost in time and space. How about we head through the square?
No one protests, so she leads them onward, sweeping into the nearest alley. A gust of wind bursts through the narrow walkway, permeating the air with the stench of a raw wooden plank and rotting garbage. The houses in the alley look like they've been copied and pasted. They were likely built at the same time to house factory workers. The only thing that differs is the light in the windows, on or off, making it clear whose shift it is tonight. 2 Christmases before, Brian got beaten up here. Some high school students apparently didn't appreciate his sharp tongue. They shoved him into a snowbank and packed snow under his sweater. But the most humiliating part was a neighbor kicking them all out. She came out onto the doorstep with one of Brian's classmates, a cute but overly chatty girl. By the very next day, the whole school had heard the story about him shaking snow out of his pants and whimpering like a puppy. He would have preferred being rolled into a giant snowman and left there like that till spring. Brian adjusts the backpack full of baseball equipment, which has crawled down his shoulder, and walks up to Ashley.
I'm so fed up with this stupid school. All these teachers, homework, tests.
But the year just started.
That only makes me want to study even less. There's nothing worse than coming back to school after summer.
He jumps over a puddle and takes Ashley's hand.
It's like wearing old trainers you've already grown out of. Can't wait for college. When I start working, I'll buy real catcher's gear. Or at least a better glove.
His palms still hurt from Friday's practice session. The equipment donated to their team left much to be desired.
Better buy a slugger straight away. It'll pay off much sooner. Best case scenario, you can be a bouncer at a bar.
Ashley laughs at his childishness. Brian doesn't get the complexity of the world at all.
Dad says a good job like his is hard to find without higher education.
Ashley grabs her Leo Zodiac pendant. It's a nervous habit, something she does whenever she says something important. It calms her.
College is just another place to study.
This world's too cruel. Illness, starvation, school.
I like how Michael back here is like, oh my gosh, guys, keep it together. I'm sorry, I'm just watching them, like, they're having a little banter, but it's like, he's just like, come on.
I like school though.
No, I was about to say, I bet he likes school. Yeah, I like school. Michael tries to squeeze into the conversation. All along, he's been trailing behind the others, glancing suspiciously at parked pickups as if they might bite. He hadn't kept up with his friends since he noticed 2 silhouettes in an old Ford. Oh my. 1 female, 1 male. You can see them? I can't see them. Oh my goodness! The mutilated faces stared back at him. He could have sworn he heard a hoarse, gurgling whisper. Their garbled words sank into his skin like windshield fragments, making his chest constrict like his ribs were breaking. Every breath pained him like his lungs were pooling with blood. No, no, no! Then, a light had flashed over one of the doorsteps, dispersing the blackness. Suddenly, both seats were empty again, and the strange vision turned into nothing but a local flour mill uniform hanging from a grab handle. Michael wipes the sweat off his forehead and listens carefully to his friends.
Of course. I'd love school too if I had your scores, Mikey.
Exactly.
Agreeing, Brian quickly squeezes Ashley's hand.
Maybe I should wear glasses too. Sounds like homework doesn't look so boring through them.
Dude, that's rude. What the heck? They walk by the Murdoch's front garden and onto a street flooded with pink and blue neon store signs.
You'd better stop complaining. We only have 3 years of school left. Just imagine. Life's gonna be completely different afterward. We might even lose touch.
She's getting too real. I love the artwork, it's really pretty. To Eva, the idea of moving away feels like teleporting to an unfamiliar planet. So many new people, places, and interesting stories. She hasn't even fully explored Riverwood yet. In her mind, the town's old houses and old residents still harbor so many secrets, enigmatic and dark. In comparison, some unknown huge city feels like a bottomless well, impossible to fully drain even if you had 100 years. In a future like that, it would be hard to make time for anything from the past. But she doesn't plan to forget her loved ones forever.
If friendship's real, distance means nothing. My dad calls his friends from other states every single day.
True. She's tempted to add that they mainly have business conversations and argue often, but they don't need to know that. Uh-oh. In her mind, her parents are role models everyone should strive to imitate, not just her and her brother. There isn't a single family in the entire town happier or more close-knit than Ashley's, and that's nothing but the truth.
Well, a couple of cornfields and state borders ain't enough to break you up.
What the hell do Ashley's dad, your love, and cornfields have in common? Look around.
The country music festival? Eva stops and points toward the houses swaying in the darkness.
Is there anything really happening up here? Crunk Jim driving his tractor into a ravine was practically the only breaking news here in 6 months.
Well, adulthood is a real challenge. People grow up, then they start to feel sorry that time flew by so fast, and they want to experience school life again.
Oh, right, I think it's in the 90s. I was like, adulthood? I was like, dang. I think people nowadays call it adulting. Which I think is very silly, but it's cool to see them actually reference things. I do think like in the 90s they would say this instead of adulting. Mumimori-san, irashaimase. 今日は怖いゲームです。ホラーゲームです。She pauses, searching for the right words. Voting someone else is one thing, but will she soon regret those bygone days herself? Batman, Yupasu. Pink orb. It's not pink orb, it's pink noise. Batman, welcome in. How are you? Horror, yes, it's a horror game. Horror visual novel based in the 90s. Ah! After all, Eva already recalls her early childhood with nostalgic warmth. Back then, every little thing felt like it was brimming with wonder. Now a doll is no longer a sorceress princess or a traveler from a faraway world. A toy soldier is just a piece of plastic, and a blanket no longer serves as a battlefield for alien creatures. Making stories up for others is simple, but how are you supposed to fix yourself? Maybe the older you get, the duller and more colorless the world becomes.
It's like going back to a fairy tale you weren't grateful enough for earlier.
They're just nice words, nothing more. Bring adults back to the textbooks, and they'll howl all day. I don't remember any fairy tales where the characters were forced to read Walt Whitman's poetry. What about
Walt
you,
Whitman's
Michael?
poetry, huh?
Me neither.
Oh no, that thing fell down. The friends stroll from one store to the next, looking at the flickering signs. Up close, they no longer seem bright and cheerful. They look rather ramshackle and out of place in the dilapidated suburb.
Let's go home, okay? Dad's on a shift today, but if he comes back to grab a bite to eat and I ain't there...
We go to Pizza Town instead? That's where I want to go. Brian scratches his neck and sticks out his tongue. Ashley laughs and punches him in the shoulder. Michael, trailing behind everyone, suddenly stops and looks at the only sign that still sparkles as brightly and cheerfully as the day it was hung.
The arcade's open! I doubt there's anyone there this late. We can play S-Fighter.
I want to play S-Fighter. Usually calm and quiet, now he blossoms. Behind his thick glasses, his eyes shine with passion.
Totally. No stupid helpers, suckers, or high school jerks.
The boys lean against the dusty window, as happy as if they are meeting their idols. Their faces like, are you for real? The girls only snort in irritation.
What? Suddenly you're not gonna run back to your crib to avoid Daddy's shellacking?
I'll risk it. There's always a chance Dad'll kick you in the head. But the chance to throw Hadoukens and not wait in a frickin' line for the game, now that's rare.
It takes so little to make them happy, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Ashley glances at her friend.
Let him play. By the way, did you hear about the arcade machine that appears in the hall by itself?
Ashley rolls her eyes. Eva's fantasies and reality have little in common. Her friend refuses to grow up. In her world, even a tattered old shoe might open his jaws and spin some ridiculous yarn. And that's exactly why Ashley adores Eva. She's so incredibly different from Ashley's overly rational parents. And from Ashley, too. With her, getting bored is an impossible mission. Even if they were both locked in an empty basement, Eva would still manage to discover something fascinating there. She'd pull Ashley in and get her into trouble again. They'd giggle about it later. But Eva doesn't need to know that. It isn't like anyone can stop her anyway.
You start playing and can't stop. The game never ends. It's impossible. But you try over and over again. Forgetting about eating or even going to the bathroom. Over and over again. Not thinking of your parents and friends. Over and over again until...
Dang, Eva's just describing how I play Monster Hunter and other games.
Until you run out of your allowance, can't afford breakfast, and stay hangry for the rest of the week cause you're dumb.
Oh, dang. Michael peels away from the glass and adjusts his lopsided glasses.
Well, that doesn't sound so scary if you got no allowance to begin with. Want to go in or what?
Gosh, they're looking at us like dogs staring at a steak.
Oh, hey, I want steak. Ashley waves her hand authoritatively.
It's creepy to go home when it's so dark out. But if you win 100 tickets, me and Eva are gonna pick a prize.
I think that's a good compromise. Act 2. It's high time for games. Shark dinner. Hey, KDK. The spacious room is somehow stuffy, permeated with the stench of hot plastic unsuccessfully covered up by pungent berry air fresheners.
Smells like wasted time.
As if. The shack smells nothing like school.
The clamor of screensavers and demo walkthroughs melds into a terrible cacophony. No wonder the zoned-out cashier is shielding himself from it with a set of greasy, cushioned headphones. The walls are plastered with posters, promotional flyers, and all sorts of paper trash. However, one ad stands out. If you beat a record, you can win tickets and exchange them for prizes. Such generosity was easily explained. With the start of the school year, kids have a bit more cash in their pockets than usual. There's no one inside except the cashier, yet the floor is peppered with trash, from crumpled soda cans to chocolate bar wrappers. The arcade closes in 30 minutes. Local kids can only hang out here at this hour in the summer. The hall is packed with all sorts of arcade machines, each game's name glowing invitingly. Clips of characters deliberately failing to beat different levels flash on the screens over and over. Monkey King, star, he go on monkey mode. The boy starts searching for the most interesting game. Oh, I get to pick a game? Oh man. I don't even know what we got here. S-Fighter, the best game the hall has ever seen. Kyu and Ren are frozen on the signboard, ready to jump at each other. The floor around the arcade machine is also brightly polished, worn down by student sneakers. La Laga. This was once one of the most famous games. Now this veteran arcade cabinet is only used while others are busy, or when a couple of truly insane nerds try, and fail, to break the record of someone named Lily the Rat once or twice a month. Dang, Lily the Rat's so good. Monkey King. An arcade golden oldie. The game machine is ancient and in poor condition. The sign barely even flickers anymore. One of the buttons is cracked.
It's over here!
Temporarily out of order. No cashier cannot fix it. Dang. The boys run toward the machine. It hasn't yet been wrecked the way some of its time-worn neighbors have. Even so, the buttons and plastic casing bear scuffs, cracks, and grubby marks left by countless kids' hands. Worst of all, instead of some thrilling music, the machine is emitting only a hoary wheeze, like an old man struggling to clear his throat, and instead pushing a death rattle out of his rusty lungs. A piece of cardboard with a blood-curdling inscription is stuck to the screen. Temporarily out of order. No cashier cannot fix it.
God, where is your justice?
Who's the god of computer nerds? The monkey holding the barrel?
Brian grumbles something in response, and Michael just shrugs.
A technician's coming, but not till at least next Tuesday. So y'all need to choose some other game. Try Road Blasters. It's the freshest here.
The cashier points at a brand new arcade game displaying a car blowing up and drowning in a fiery, pixelated cloud.
Dang it!
Michael's voice trembles. He seldom lets himself betray such emotion, but Brian has his back.
What else have you got, other than cars?
All that and a bag of chips. If you're ranking a top 5 of Pumpkin Man, I'll give you a double prize.
He nods toward the counter.
No one really plays this trash. We've got a real shot at setting a record.
A gray cat lounging on a chair next to another machine captures the girl's attention. 4 letters shine on her pink collar. Lucy.
So sweet.
It is very cute. Oh, I can pet the cat? Whoa, hold up. I didn't know I can actually click on things. The cat flattens her ears and grumbles.
I bet you $5 she doesn't remember how clean hands with no cheese ball dust on them feel.
She kinda looks like the cat Mom was trying to paint last month.
Let me guess. The cat in the painting had mandibles and a pair of tentacles.
What the heck?
I wish. She was just in the background. Mom paints people. You know how it is.
Ashley knows. She wishes she didn't, though. Those paintings are why she prefers inviting Eva over rather than visiting her. Well, one of the reasons anyway. They'd had a slumber party at Eva's place twice. Both nights, Ashley had been plagued by nightmares. The root cause was a few masterpieces Eva's mom considered her favorites. Compared to those monstrosities, plain old horror movies are practically bright, cheery cartoons. Meanwhile, the boys approach the coin-operated Pumpkin Man machine. Instead of usual Mr. or Mrs. Pac-Man, a bright orange pumpkin is flying around tough levels, eating licorice candies. The display sears their eyes with poisonous shades as a bunch of green blots chase the voracious pumpkin.
What you think? Are these ghosts?
Michael peers at the sign.
Here's a hunter shooting the pumpkin with a shotgun.
They're restless hunter souls then.
Awesome. Let him catch the pumpkin. Then everyone's happy. The hunters are safe in their graves and we're home.
Ryan decisively draws a handful of coins from his pockets and inserts them. The coins clatter through the machine's metal innards and settle in its stomach. The maze dissolves into pixels and rearranges itself into the first level. Its corridors are speckled with candies, and the ghosts begin darting ravenously around their cage.
Back home? With no prize. I ain't leaving until we empty out the prize counter.
The cashier shudders at the thought.
We close in half an hour.
Brian winks at Michael. Uri-san,
Then he's gonna have 15 minutes left over to cry over his empty counter.
Pumpkin Man. I thought they were doing copyright safe Pac-Man until I said the real title. I know. I thought so too, to be honest, Turquoise. Level 1? Push any key? Oh, I didn't realize. I had to play? How does this work? Do I use arrows and... Oh. WASD. I've actually never really played Pac-Man.
To the left!
Okay, I'm going up now.
To the left!
I don't want to go to the left, they're coming for me. I'm so hosed. Oh.
To the left!
What's at the left? What do you want at the left, man? Let me play.
This time. This time.
To the left!
I'm going left, bro. No.
This time.
Oh, level 2 now?
Time.
Okay. They're like, I know, backseating, I know. I was like, what are you doing? I can't concentrate. I made a mistake, I was trying to go up.
To the left!
Why are you telling me to the left? Hold on, bro.
Wrong way!
I know. I messed up. It's not looking good.
This time.
Oh, he got up.
This
Dang.
time.
Do not tell me to the left. I'm busy.
To the left!
Dang. These guys going faster than me? I win. Claim tickets, all or nothing? I guess all or nothing. I'm gonna get the hammer. Let's claim tickets.
That's it! Give me tickets, you stupid slab of iron!
One shot. I probably could have did the next one, but oh well. The cabinet releases 50 tickets that could be exchanged for an interesting item. Although they'd like to keep playing a bit longer, they run out of spare change, and Brian would never ever borrow money from a girl. Michael feels a bit awkward since he's never had any pocket money at all, but a friendly slap on the back snaps him out of his thoughts. Is the tournament soon? I think we got 1 more hour, Rico. Thank you for asking. I think it starts at 9. Yeah, time zones. Yeah, thank you. I need to keep an eye too. No, I appreciate you keeping me on top of it. Dude, look at this guy up here. He looks familiar. He's from Space Wars. Dude, they got turtles. What the heck? Or actually, they might be dogs.
Good job, Michael. You played like a beast.
I could have made Michael do it better. Dang.
You two did a lot better on this than in chemistry class today. Not sure I could have completed the level where there were more ghosts than candies.
Midlife Crisis Ninja Turtles. Brian looks around with a self-satisfied smile, but to his disappointment, the girls aren't there to celebrate his triumph. They're just emerging from the bathroom, discussing
You
something.
missed something amazing.
Did you land a space shuttle? No? Then I don't see any reason for such delirious joy.
I can't imagine talking like this to someone you're supposed to be dating. Brian points to the tickets Michael's holding.
Nah, what we did is way cooler than any shuttle. Let's go. High time we pick a prize.
The cashier isn't around. The only movement in the whole arcade is a decorative bamboo curtain slowly swaying behind the counter. The cashier's headphones are still lying on the lower part of the counter, and a loathsome sausage is rolling around in a jar. All of a sudden, the hall seems empty.
Where did he go?
Dunno.
Brian carefully approaches the counter and raps on the table with his knuckles. They hear shambling behind the bamboo curtain. Someone exhales loudly, and they all freeze. The game machines start beeping incessantly. The signboard lights dim as a devouring darkness creeps into the hall. Eva patiently examines the counter, the prizes, and the posters tacked up on top of one another. Then she shouts, "We have 50,000 tickets, we can finally get the cool eraser. Oh boy, it's a dinosaur eraser. My favorite."
Hello? Anybody here?
No reply.
Let's bounce. I don't want to wait for this freak.
That's so rude. Oh my goodness. The cashier takes off his mask and bursts into laughter. I saw that in the corner. It was on his desk.
Y'all should see your faces.
Rude but accurate. Haru-san, wheel, chi, ji.
We didn't even gasp. What a boring prank.
Oh, so mean. I thought it was scary. The cashier grimaces as though he's taken a swig of lemon juice.
Ugh, critics. All right, pick a prize. I see y'all got plenty of tickets.
Oh man, do we want the Slinky, the Game Pod, the baseball cards, the Rubik's Cube, the Mystery 9 Ball? I want Game Pod. Oh no! Game Pod 10,000 winning tickets, the best prize ever, the boys' wildest dreams. I wonder how long you had to play to win this many tickets. Slinky 20 winning tickets, a red Slinky, an American Golden oldie. You can perform lots of simple tricks with it. Eva's promised her younger brother that she'll get him one just like this. Haru-san, arigatou gozaimasu. 10ヶ月ありがとうございます、Haru-san. I really appreciate the support, Haru-san. Thank you for the 20 months. $1986 Cops Baseball Card Set. 40 winning tickets. The card's price has slumped since everyone rushed to buy them a few years back, hoping to sell them at a profit later, even if they aren't interested in sports. Dani-san, yonpasu, irashaimase. Brian's personal collection is only missing the 1986 and 1984 sets. He'd love this. Cube. 35 winning tickets. A good but hard puzzle. Michael loves stuff like that. He'll probably solve it in 15 minutes. Magic Ball. 50 winning tickets. A magic ball. Ashley would love this toy, as she believes in fortune-telling and horoscopes. Prize for Brian, prize for Michael, prize for Ashley, prize for Eva. Dang, I wish I had this one. Good for Eva. I chose the Slinky.
Don't forget, we're supposed to pick a prize. I picked the magic ball, but Dad promised he'd bring me one from Indianapolis anyway. So, your turn, Eva.
Perhaps another time Ashley would have insisted on what she wanted, but the ball is too plain. She'll get a newer, much cooler one any day now.
We'll take the slinky. I'll give it to my little brother. He's obsessed with them. He walks them down the stairs when our parents are busy. So, basically, all the time. I don't know why, but he's convinced the red ones are the fastest.
It's the same thing with toy cars. The redder, the speedier.
The more expensive on insurance.
I wouldn't mind having a big sis who cared enough to always get me something. Ice cream, cotton candy, prizes. Tony's hella lucky.
He truly wishes he had a brother or a sister. He never got much of Dad's attention anyway. At least, then he might have had someone to share the lonely chill of the empty house with. But despite what he told Eva, he wanted a younger sibling more. They say the oldest always gets their fair share of the smacks and scoldings. He's no stranger to that. But this way, he can stand up for his little sibling, be their friend and role model. However, it seems nothing is going to change. Brian gives the cashier his tickets.
You heard the lady. We want the snappiest slinky. You can keep the rest of the tickets. Give them to whatever poor suckers are doomed to play this old shit until S-Fighter is up and running again.
These people are so rude. Well, I mean, Eva seems fine, but man, like, Brian and Ashley, kind of rude. I don't know about Michael, if he's rude yet.
You got a sharp tongue, kid. I think I'll keep that extra prize offered y'all.
Yeah, I know, rude. Michael looks down but doesn't dare disagree. Unaccustomed to keeping silent, Ashley abruptly catches her pendant and opens her mouth with a cold, arrogant tone. Around her friends and family, Ashley is soft and forgiving, letting their little screw-ups slide. With strangers, she's the exact opposite. To defend her friends, she transforms into a blonde battering ram only a fool would dare defy. One way or another, she always gets what she wants, whether it's in class, arguments, or board games. This time, the cashier is in her way. Big mistake.
You're a total fraud! You promised! I'm filing a complaint. Where's your manager?
The cashier snatches an old VHS tape off the counter and shoves it into Eva's hands. Oh no.
All right, take it. I hope the tape's blank and boring. Kids these days.
What do you think is going to be on the tape? Eva swiftly stuffs the prize into her bag and skips toward the exit. The rest of the gang follows her. A bad sign. Oh no! Most of the signs are already off, submerging the thickets, basements, and narrow alleyways in darkness. It splashes out onto the square, engulfing it in blackness. Only a few pickups and locked bicycles are still around, all parked by Marshall Sue's bar. The wind sweeps over the fields. The element that usually toys with the harvested corn now moans forlornly, plunging the suburb into melancholy. Winter will change everything. Stores and bars will be strung with sparkling beads of colorful lights, and the snow will smooth the wrinkles and scars of old Riverwood. The town will take on a deceptively pretty and cozy facade. As a kid, Michael loved strolling around there during Christmas vacation, munching on hot pies and watching snowflakes fall through the thick windows of a coffee shop. Back then, he never noticed the aging buildings, chipped concrete, or the gloomy people trying to fake a smile. In autumn, however, the suburb's flaws stand out more sharply. It looks unwelcoming, gray, lifeless. No wonder Eva calls it the season of ghosts. Just thinking about it gives them the creeps.
Well, we're late. Granny and Grandpa will be upset.
If that's the worst that'll happen, then you may as well stay out a little later.
Eva pulls the cassette out of her bag. The red slinky gets caught on it and falls to the ground. It hits the pavement with a crunch. In the dim light, the rings gleam, unusually bright and slick. Sighing, Eva hands the cassette to Brian and bends down to pick up the slinky. Brian examines their bonus prize.
It looks like a personal archive of a maniac who killed a lot of people and recorded their achievements for their descendants to watch. A comfy basement, hooks, candles,
What the heck? Does someone play DVD?
Or an auto shop with a buzzsaw and a big meat freezer.
How can they tell? Eva shrieks and leaps back. Ashley freezes. Eva doesn't scare easily. She's watched dozens of movies of all different insanity levels and almost always stayed calm. Even the tensest screams hardly make her flinch. Ashley's eyes bulge as Eva's scream echoes through the town square. Eva looks at her fingers as if they're filthy and wipes them on her skirt.
What? Did the shadows pinch your pinky or something?
Eva bends down again and picks the slinky up. It sways slowly, looking excessively soft and pliable.
It was wet. I thought...
But she decides not to voice her thoughts. Even her own friends consider her a weirdo. Does she really have to give them even more evidence? Why are these friends so mean to each other? Eva puts the slinky away and smiles.
Speaking of the cassette, what if the video is cursed?
Oh no, don't say that. Foreshadowing.
Please. I bet it's that freak cashier's home video. He's probably posing in a French maid costume.
They reach Ashley's driveway. It boasts a large yard with plenty of space for a treehouse, a pool, and a heated shed. Wow, fancy. Despite all these luxuries, Eva is only interested in the little treehouse hidden among the branches. It still looks sturdy and cozy, though no one has set foot inside for a long time. It must have so many spider webs. About 5 years ago, Eva's father brought over boards, tools, and blueprints. He and Ashley's father spent days building that treehouse. After a hard days of work, they spent their evenings drinking beer and lounging on folding chairs under the tree's shade. The girls used to play in the treehouse, staying up late even though Ashley's family schedule was inviolable. Life's gotten busy since then, yet another reason their father's friendship was over. Even dinner at Ashley's house has a precise time reserved for it. The only light still on is her parents' bedroom upstairs, which means Ashley will have to make her own dinner and have it cold.
Ash, you have an old VHS player in your shed, don't you?
Yeah, but I should have gotten rid of it after you'd bought that creepy Italian movie about ballerinas.
Ballerina movie. They pause by the decorative fence. Eva could go home alone, but for some reason, that night, she doesn't want to part with her friends. She tells herself it's because of the mysterious prize waiting in her bag. When else will they have a chance to watch the tape together?
How about we watch the tape? I ain't gonna sleep till I know what's on it.
But that isn't why. Her fingers can't forget the feeling of the cold, foul organs that replaced the slinky when it fell. I was gonna say, was it like intestines? That's interesting, you have to like click on it. Eva wants to free her mind from that awful image, and the eerie tape seems like the perfect distraction. She looks from friend to friend, afraid they might refuse. If they do, dark thoughts will consume her all night. Ashley nods and heads toward the shed. The rest follow her lead. Act 4, a comfy place. As far as the friends are concerned, Ashley's shed is the best and coziest place in the whole suburb. They spend most of their evenings here in the winter, when there's nowhere else to hang out and a high risk of being targeted by the high schoolers' snowballs. There's plenty of space for board games and fooling around, and they can be as loud as they like, and Ashley can always bring them snacks or soda from home. Her father originally planned to turn the place into a man cave, complete with a couch and big TV, but he'd been overwhelmed with work lately, so most of the time, the friends are free to use the shed. But that day, they aren't alone. Chris, Ashley's older brother, is already inside, lying on a shabby carpet and playing a new console. Only as they enter does Ashley remember that Chris is grounded from coming home drunk from a party. He isn't allowed to see his friends for a month, but some of his buddies might have lent him the gaming console so he won't get too bored at home alone. As the front door squeaks open, he swiftly hides a pack of cigarettes under a pillow.
It's just you suckers. I thought Daddy showed up and was about to teach me how to live again. What you doing up here? Baby Ashley decided to show you our true family treasures?
The shed is filled with dated furniture, living out its last days in unused equipment covered in dust, plus other miscellaneous items the family are too lazy to get rid of. Ashley's family is rich enough that they don't need to sell all of their old junk, so a lot of it has been stuffed into the shed. Chris's battered punching bag. Someone must have thrown hatchets and darts at it. The funny scarecrow from the Bennett's field. Ashley asked Chris to steal it after the Bennett's youngest daughter lost her doll. It was hard to believe, but Eva swore the scarecrow had moved on its own. An antique mirror. Little Ashley loved looking in it and imagining she was a Disney princess. Eva would barely even glance at the mirror. She was 110% convinced that Bloody Mary would come out of it if she wasn't careful. The old motorcycle. About 3 years ago, before Ashley and Brian started dating, Brian saddled it up and drove it into the creek. Ashley burst into laughter, and Brian was banned from visiting Ashley's house. It seems the ban still hasn't been lifted. An archaic Atari Pong console. Ashley's father played it as a teenager, but the only controller broke long ago, and so did the console itself. Chris retrieves the cigarettes and pulls out a cigarette with his teeth. Brian knows the trick so he can try it later. It looks thrilling. He doubts his attempt will look as natural as Chris's did, but it's worth a little practice. What if he manages to impress the high schoolers or the guys from the neighboring town's baseball team? Taunting opponents and getting on their nerves is a full-time honor tradition. Brian imagines himself strolling past them, deftly pulling out a cigarette, then smirking and asking why they sent a team of sissies to the game.
Don't you have to stay in your room and feign remorse?
And what about you? Shouldn't you be catching Z's, not wandering around in the dark? Or you want to see who can disappoint our parents the most?
Oh my goodness. He exhales a ring of blue smoke. The winner is clear.
No. Unlike you, I care about my future. We just want to watch a cassette. Why don't you just go do something else for a bit? We need the TV.
As if. Get out of here, kids.
He turns the TV and keeps playing. G. To deceive Chris? To persuade Chris?
Don't be so pig-headed. We'll only take like 5 minutes.
Chris ignores Ashley. Instead, he continues moving the bizarrely bright pixels across the screen. Eva knows neither force nor trickery will work on Chris. In that way, he and Ashley are alike. The harder you push, the harder they push back. But who says the truth can't be just as useful as a lie, especially when it comes to something mysterious and intriguing?
We have a secret cassette. The arcade center cashier gave it to us. No one knows what's on the tape, but I'm willing to bet it's not just silly cartoons.
Chris softens a little and puts the controller away. Eva is the only person who doesn't irritate him. He still can't understand why such a good girl hangs out with Ashley and her stupid friends.
Alright, here's your hourglass then.
Chris whips out a new cigarette and lights it cinematically.
When I reach the filter, you stop wasting my precious time and piss off out of here. Yeah, and one more thing. If it's a movie for, adults, I'll take it.
What the heck? How awkward. I'll check something really quick. Ashley's voice is practically poisonous.
Oh yeah? To throw it away and preserve our innocence, huh?
Of course not. To give to Sam and Bobby.
Sam and Bobby are not really good guys. Rumors of their wicked deeds are always flying around town. Ashley knows Chris is afraid of them, but he'd still do anything to get into their gang. He's constantly schmoozing them with free drinks and cigarettes. Chris turns to Michael.
Move your ass, Four Eyes. Turn the damn cassette on.
Michael shudders. He's never once used a VHS player by himself, but his friends don't know that. His grandparents don't think electronics are worth their attention. They'd never waste their meager savings on such silly things. He breathes a quiet sigh of relief when Eva hops over to the TV and slides the cassette into the VHS player.
And now for the interesting part.
Oh man, pizza, yum yum, thank you, Gerald. The curved, dusty screen produces a snowstorm of white noise. The speakers transmit a hoarse whistle, like a mutilated parody of wind gusts. Eva is worried. Her friends might turn off the player at any point and head home. Then she'll be left guessing what was on the tape. She doesn't want to watch it alone. With all his might, Chris is already acting bored. To him, the fact that these kids have been scammed is as clear as day. They'd probably buy a rotten pumpkin if you told them it talked on Wednesdays.
You got a blank tape? No surprise there. Sam would catch that cashier and give him a proper talking to.
Ashley gives Chris the side eye. He used to be different. He played sports. He'd never smoke or follow complete idiots who were only cool to even moronic idiots like Peter.
It can't be blank. Hurry up and take your seats. We don't want to miss anything.
Eva settles down on one of the pillows next to Chris. The others sit on the other pillows and stare at the screen. The TV only emits a static blizzard and a horrible howling. The wind sweeps out of the fields and descends into the suburb, sneaking through the streets like a wild animal prowling for prey. It shoves the shed, making it sway and creak like a popping joint. Their only lamp flickers, casting shadows on the piles of garbage in the corners.
Is there any other light in here?
Next time, we'll hang an entire chandelier out here, just for you.
Chris wants to add something else, but the pictures on the screen finally take shape. Oh no! Morgana's the place! Leave the giant stamp. The black and gray static stripes morph into an image, taking on colors and shapes. One part becomes studio walls. Another area changes into the decorated set of a Friday night show. The rest turns into the body of a game show host wearing a striped suit jacket.
You better fire that god-awful costume designer.
The host is half-turned, staring at the camera, as if waiting for a director's signal to start or trying to see the audience on the other side of the screen.
They should kick the musicians out of there too. What is this? Their first time playing instruments?
She nervously fiddles with her pendant. The sharp sound clearly caught her off guard.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome, my sweet and miserable guests, to the most unique, funniest.
The angle abruptly changes, and the studio suddenly looks less bright and cheerful. The walls have lost their false gloss and bright hues. Half the spotlights go out, and those that remain are only dim. But the host keeps smiling.
To the most unique, funniest, and scariest show on TV.
They're like, what? The friends exchange puzzled glances.
I bet my hand that this is something you've never seen before and will never see again. Sadly, I've got nothing left to bet. I ate my hand before the show.
Why is this guy so loud? Somewhere in the background, canned laughter and applause ring out. The teenagers can certainly believe the host really did devour his hand before the show. His behavior is odd. His speech is too dramatic. He keeps breaking into screams, choking on his cackling. He looked like Beetlejuice. Somehow, he managed to act both insanely cheerful and inappropriately gloomy at the same time, all depending on the angle the producer chooses.
Bullshit. What a waste of time.
No, wait, let's just watch a little longer. I've never heard of the show. How about we give it a chance?
Michael and Brian nod, staring intently at the flickering screen. The host, as if waiting for their verdict, steps back from the camera and holds his hands out in an inviting gesture.
So come on, take a seat, the broken and prideful.
The shot changes.
The reserved and those embracing everything new.
The shot changes.
The brave, cowardly, dependent, and free. Get comfortable. Enjoy!
The screen ripples. The host's voice dwindles, then deepens. It sounds muffled, as if it's emanating from a cellar filled with soil.
Yourself.
The picture dissolves into a rippled black and white mess, and a terrible crack bursts out of the speakers.
The end. That's enough for today.
I'll fast forward it a little. What if there's something else here?
Eva jumps up from the pillow, but Chris stops her.
Slow down, Fury. The buttons jam. I'll do it.
Chris gets up and starts to go to the VHS player, but freezes halfway there. A faint knocking sound cuts through the static, as if someone's scratching and drumming their fingers against the other side of the screen. Chris turns around and opens his mouth, as if to ask something, but bumps directly into an astonished Eva.
How's he doing it?
Doing what?
Yeah, what's he doing? The static blizzard is still raging on the screen. Eva turns to the screen and stares deep into the black and white chaos. I don't know what she's saying. Back to the drawing board. The noise pouring out of the speakers absorbs all of their sounds, but it isn't hissing, cracking, and howling anymore. It's knocking. At first, it's monotonous, but the knocking soon speeds up. It belts their eardrums like an old alarm clock mercilessly rattling every morning. Eva shakes her head to drive away a nightmarish vision and rubs her face with her palms. But the knocking is still there, and Eva knows what's making it. It's a branch from the old hazel tree that her father had been threatening to cut down for 2 years. It must have once again gotten its gnarled fingers caught on the windowsill. It scratches the window every time the wind blows. But today, a true storm is raging outside. The rain lashes the window, covering it in dirty spots as the hurricane-like gusts shake the hazel tree like a school bully shaking down a junior. Confused, Eva checks out her bedroom. Everything looks as usual there. The table and the shelves are perfectly arranged, the bed carefully made. Even the posters are still hanging in a strict line, as if in an art exhibit. Eva loves it when everything's in place. Whenever her mother is overwhelmed at work, Eva and her father are left responsible for cleaning the house. And the less you litter, the more you have to clean. The book Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. Eva adored it as a kid. Now she's rereading it to her younger brother. A VHS collection. There's a light mystery in the first row. Behind it are the slashers. The third row is reserved for Italian horror movies, marked with the strange word, giallo. And behind everything else, hidden in a Cinderella case, the creepy movie Necromancer is waiting for its time to shine. It's better if her mother doesn't know about it. A family photograph. It was taken the day Eva had gotten to her first bracelets. Tony was tiny back then, and her parents looked happy. Her mother wasn't absorbed in her art career yet. Back then, she cared about her family more than canvases and paints. A feather. Their parrot Sancho lived for 6 years. His loss was unbearable, so Eva still had one of his feathers as a keepsake. At first, she couldn't handle looking at it. She'd burst into tears every time she saw it. A Talangia flower. It looks like it sprang straight out of the pages of a fairy tale. A fan gave it to her mother at an art exhibition, and it's growing in a pot Ashley had made during an extracurricular pottery workshop. The pot isn't the best, but Eva will never swap it out for another. Eva's head shoots up as she hears quiet steps approaching.
Tony?
What's in your hand, Tony? Her brother is standing by the door, shifting from one foot to the other, and holding a thick cardboard cup with a string snaked through the bottom. The string rises on the floor and crawls through the hallway. His long-sleeved shirt with a pink dinosaur was Dad's gift for him last Christmas. Since then, Tony takes it off only at bedtime and for the laundry. Lately, Eva's brother looks a little more confused, as though he's only wandered into Eva's room by accident after getting lost in his own home. His big eyes hold a strange expression she can't quite explain or describe. No matter how much she talks to him, words are never enough. And when all his most important questions are answered, Tony just comes up with new ones.
I fixed her thread. String telephone. Here. Yesterday I could barely hear anything.
Eva takes the cup and puts it on her nightstand.
It's time to go to bed, baby. When you're all set, pull the string twice and I'll read some bedtime stories for you.
She ruffles his hair and he happily runs back to his bedroom. They often talk to each other before bedtime because Tony isn't used to falling asleep alone. She has to chat with him, weave magical stories, retell movies and comic plots until he starts snoring. The string slowly tightens and lifts up from the floor, which means Tony is already in bed and ready to listen. Eva puts the cup to her ear. She heard familiar creaks and rustle from the other side.
Can you hear me, Tony?
Loud and clear. I fell asleep today. By myself. Well, I almost did, but then a huge storm hit. Thunder. And something creaked in the closet, so
I always thought this, cannon string thing was really cool to do. He doesn't finish. He's ashamed of his childish behavior, though he does his best to look brave for Eva. But blaming him for his fears would be foolish. Of course kids are scared when a storm is raging and thunder is crashing right outside, especially if their room is dark and windowless. I did too. I was like, no way it works. It's so cool. It's really fun to do. It's easier for Eva. As a child, she learned to befriend her fears. She often left a bowl of milk or a handful of candy out in case a monster was lurking under her bed. Then it's not a monster anymore, but a little buddy rustling candy wrappers in the middle of the night. Tony isn't the same as her, though, and she has to accept that.
Then close your eyes and listen. I made up a new story.
They're surrounded by routine. She wants to calm Tony down the way she used to wish her father sweet dreams, to leave a croissant for her mother in the kitchen so that she'll remember not to drink milk or coffee on an empty stomach.
what's the story about? Is it scary? I don't really want to hear a scary story today.
Eva, what the heck? Why are you telling little boys scary stories?
No, it's a legend about a magical arcade machine that teleports brave and obedient kids into its world of adventures.
For some reason, amid the whirlwind of thoughts and images racing through her mind, she chooses an arcade machine. Or, rather, it chooses itself, as if it were alive. It appears in her mind's eye, in all its beauty, that black oily luster and 2 scarlet buttons. But she can't present it to Tony as is. It needs to be wrapped in something brighter, lighter, and more mysterious. Her baby brother sighs with excitement.
It must be dangerous there. There are lots of monsters in games.
It's an adventure. It wouldn't be an adventure without monsters.
Without warning, someone opens the door. The string falls limp. Eva drops the cup and gasps. Her mother enters the room, tired, disheveled, and soaked in the odor of solvent, paints, and coffee. Perhaps she worked too long again and remembered that she's missed dinner only after her dizziness and lower back pain reared up. She always complains about that to Eva's father.
Didn't hear you come home. Why are you up so late?
She glances at the cup rolling on the floor. Eva's mother can scarcely understand what her children are up to. What's all the late-night storytelling for? Why can't Tony just go to bed and fall asleep? She's shocked every time one of them outgrows last year's clothes. Even now, surprise lights up her reddened eyes.
Chatting with Tony again? He needs to learn to fall asleep on his own. Tell him to brush his teeth and go to bed right now. At least that will put these toys to good use.
Of course, Mom. Tony's almost asleep. Oh, today was so long, but cool. We cleaned up the chemistry room, then we went to the arcade center, and then I came back home.
Eva stops abruptly. Something's missing. Something crucial. But she can't remember. And judging by her wandering gaze, her mother still hasn't returned from the world of images, fades, and episodes of other people's lives, all captured on canvas.
You know what? You're right. Tony ought to fall asleep without my chatter tonight. Good night, Mom.
She doesn't even get a smile in return. It's as if her mother's emotions have been drained out of her, like water from a shattered vase. Perhaps they settle on her canvases instead, leaving not a single drop for real life. Year after year, her work has devoured her, turning her into a completely different person.
Good night, darling. I think I'm gonna have a cup of milk and go to bed too.
Mom going to bed? No, not her.
Eva knows her mother will go back to the workshop soon. She won't fall asleep until dawn, completely exhausted, next to her easel. When her mother closes the door behind her, Eva picks up the cardboard phone and hangs it on the hook her dad screwed into the wall specifically to hold it. The cup hardly even touches Eva's hands when the string tightens again.
Tony, go to bed. Mom just came and scolded us for chatting.
You promised me a story about an arcade machine.
Eva suddenly feels so exhausted that she can't fathom making up even the simplest story. Not even another yarn about the brave veggie kingdom she's stuffed his ears with since childhood to teach him to love healthy food. As if she's inherited part of her mother's fatigue, Eva's eyes water from drowsiness, and her legs go weak. Eva doesn't want to upset Tony, but it really is late. They should have been in bed long ago, and there's no better weather for curling up under a warm, cozy blanket. But Tony isn't about to let her go that fast. For him, it isn't just rain or lightning outside. It's bloodthirsty creatures lurking beyond the walls, and only Eva's voice can keep their shadows from seeping through the air vents or the cracks in the plaster.
Go to bed, little one. I'll come up with 2 adventures for you tomorrow, I promise.
Tony wants to protest, but the offer is too tempting. Sometimes he begs her to make up new stories about his favorite characters, but he mostly listens. 2 whole stories waiting for him the next night. That feels like a fair trade for one night's peace. Besides, the thunder has already stopped splitting the sky, and now only the rain is rustling softly against the roof and grass outside.
Okay.
Sweet dreams.
She puts the cup away. Her eyelids seem insanely heavy, but strange thoughts still occupy her mind. Not even bothering to put on her pajamas, Eva collapses onto her bed and presses her cheek against the pillow. Today really was long and hard. So much happened. The outburst in chemistry class, cleaning, walking along Riverwood Park with her friends, then shopping square and arcade center.
But what was next?
There's a blank space in her memory between the arcade center and coming back home. Fragments of phrases, merry, beeping music, a flickering light, and clouding it all, a black and white haze. Her lethargy evaporates. Eva rolls onto her back and stares at the ceiling. Something else definitely happened. But the memory keeps slipping away, getting lost. Something important happened at the arcade center. It's clinging to her and her friends like a parasite, stubbornly pulling them into the darkness engulfing Riverwood. Of course, the old town has been keeping the secrets for many generations. The ghosts of the ancient church Eva's grandmother told her about, the cursed coin, the bodies buried in the foundation of the town hall. But those are just legends. No evidence of them has ever been found. She just needs to remember how she, Ashley, Brian, and Michael stepped into the arcade center, and then... She hears a silent rustle next to her. The makeshift phone is crawling along the nightstand. Eva just manages to catch it before it falls. She quickly presses the cup to her lips.
Tony, you're still awake?
Oh! A sickening, ear-splitting screech is the only response. Astonished, Eva can hardly suppress her scream. That sounds just like the electric timer in the art workshop attic. Her mom set it up that the jarring sound would distract her from her work every 3 hours. It reminds her that there are other people living in the house who she should spend time with. But why was that shriek next to her baby brother? She doubts Tony took the timer to his room. Eva hurries into his room to check on him. The bed is empty. Eva throws up her hands. Tony rarely leaves his room at night. He always leaves a cup of water or milk on his nightstand before bed, so he won't have to go to the kitchen, and he would have passed Eva's room if he'd gone to the bathroom. If nothing else, she definitely should have heard his footsteps. There's only one other place where Tony and her mom's alarm clock could be at the same time. It isn't something he normally does, but she can't think of a better explanation.
What a silly boy. Why did you go to the workshop? He should know better. He'll have bad dreams if he looks at Mom's paintings.
They could influence even an adult's mind so terribly that there's always a nurse on standby at her exhibitions, ready to tend the most impressionable visitors. The thought of what Tony might see there horrifies Eva. She remembers how Ashley tossed and turned, unable to sleep, after visiting the workshop during a sleepover. How she had complained about nightmares afterward. If her brother sees those paintings, she'll be up all night distracting him from anxious thoughts. As for the next day, not even 2 stories will be enough.
Tony, what's up with the radio silence?
Not a single sound comes from the other side of the toy phone. Eva doesn't like it when Mom scolds her, and she likes it even less when the one being scolded is Tony. And her brother is 110% going to be punished for going to Mom's workshop without permission. Eva creeps into the hall and peers around carefully. Only now does she notice that the string leads toward the attic entryway. It's hard to discern on the first try, as it's lying right in line with the baseboard. Eva timidly passes her parents' bedroom and hesitates by the stairs leading up to the 2nd floor. Even there, a few of her mom's paintings, unpleasant to look at in dim light, are hung on the walls. Eva is used to them, but Tony still rushes past the hall, sometimes shutting his eyes tight. Their father's been planning to take them down or move them somewhere else, but doesn't want to upset his wife. He has no idea how to bring it up, so the image of a woman pressing her palms to her face is still staring into the corridor with wide eyes. A black silhouette flits on the left side of the stairs. That's freaky. Eva presses the cup to her lips and whispers.
Tony, go downstairs while Mom's in the kitchen.
Somewhere, close to the door to the attic, she hears a soft shuffling noise. She cranes her neck, trying to discern the source of the noise, but the darkness reigns above. Oh, 1 second, please. Gotta check something. Keeping an eye right now on the timer.
Alright, blame it on yourself, little bro. No fairy tales for you tomorrow. Well, maybe one.
Maybe one. Ooh. She hardly even takes a step when something scurries past her feet and freezes on the lace rug in the hallway. I should have figured the Slinky was coming.
Oh, the Slinky. Wait, where did I get that? Did I buy it? Win it? Trade for it? I'm sure I was gonna give Tony this red Slinky, but when did I actually do it? He wouldn't have taken it without asking.
Taking a deep breath, Eva resolutely walks up the stairs. All over the stairs are Slinkies of all colors. Tony is always playing with them on the stairs, racing them and setting them up like they're contestants. Rabbit Mo, a stitched-up teddy bear named Pig, and a shapeless stuffed owl Eva bought at an autumn best fair. Whichever Slinky wins spends the night in Tony's bed as a reward. But Tony usually carefully cleans up after himself every night and puts the Slinkies back into their signed boxes. The mess he's left tonight is completely inexplicable. And Tony isn't on the stairs. The phone string is laced through the gap under the door at the top. Eva switches the light on. A twisted light fixture flashes on, illuminating the workshop sign and door. Inscription: Keep out nosy. The words are written in an extremely beautiful script, her mother's writing. A funny sketch of a 3-headed dog guards the door. Eva painted that heckhound 2 years ago when she was into Greek mythology. Her mother was delighted that her daughter liked painting too, but it was Eva's last drawing. The door opens with ease, letting Eva into a short, narrow hallway. The mother was usually scolding kids for coming in without permission. Eva had a rare chance to see new and failed works. But it isn't the kind of rule Eva's tempted to break. The older she gets, the less she cares about her mom's painting. It isn't the framed nightmare she wants to see, but the person who creates them. The paintings make a lasting impression on everyone. Some are enchanting, others are frightening. Mom mostly paints people, or, to be more precise, their emotions. Eva prefers paintings of fairies, magic, and fantasies, or ordinary photographs. At least that kind of art doesn't make Eva ponder why an orphan who's just been taken in by a family is crying amid their adoptive parents' shared joy, or why the wife of an unlucky worker is sad when he wins a considerable sum in the lottery. Taking a breath, Eva heads deeper into the workshop. Alright folks, I think we're going to pause this segment here because I do need to get ready for the tournament that's happening in a few minutes. So I want to say a big thank you to Somber Games for providing a copy of this on the PC. I think we're getting right into the good part. It's been quite the lead up about like what's going on with the spooky VHS tape. But yeah, if you're interested in checking out Pink Noise, you can click on the link that I have pinned in the chat message. But if you're watching the VOD, I will put a link to the game in the VOD description below. I can't wait to see what happens next. These paintings are actually really good, but yeah, they're kind of freaky. Alright, I'm going to take a quick little BRB and get ready for our tournament in Super No Doggy World. But thank you again to Somber Games for providing a copy of this. And thank you all for hanging out as we have some spooky late night storytelling. I'll be right back though. I'll see you very soon.